Hey John, this is Josen. I'm on.
Hi, Joseph. Nice to see you.
You too, buddy.
And good morning, Sam and Ryan and Connie. It's always interesting when someone might be using someone else's camera and it comes up with a different name.
Good morning.
Where are you from, Sam?
Calgary, Alberta.
Oh, nice. Nice to have you here. How's the weather? Is the sun shining there?
Sun shining today.
Good. So we're a couple minutes out here. We're just waiting for some more people to join up the group here. Yeah, I see one of my local customers from SRIS, Sales and Contracting. Good news, I'm coming to pick up your window perf today, and we can install it next week for you. I see Lauren logging in. How you doing, Lauren? Pamela. Pamela, where are you coming to us from?
Boca Engineering.
Oh, okay, good. Just up on Cloverdale Street, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Good. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah. I've actually met you previously. You did some work for a company I worked for, Tycon. You did some nice signs for us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Henry, my neighbor, still works for them, Tycon.
Yes, he does. Henry Van Heck.
Yeah. So testing. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, John. Nice to see you.
Hi, Marian. Hi, Amanda. You don't look like an Amanda.
Mhm.
Ryan, where are you from?
Kamloops, BC.
Okay, cool. Are you part of the barter group?
No, I'm here with Salon Laser.
Oh, okay, cool. Is that laser as in laser engraving, or is that laser as in you can make me look skinnier?
I wish that's a laser toner
Oh,
printers.
that, yeah. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
How many different products, right? And this is why we're talking about how to get found on Google, because we just talked about 3 different types of business and 3 different types of Google searches that could get you found or lost forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just bought this company, and the name has been around for about 35 years, but when it started, it was an industry that name made sense for, but now it doesn't seem as specific.
Yeah. Is there a Save on Laser in Victoria as well?
We service Victoria.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Aren't you off of Van Elman or somewhere in that region here near Royal Oak?
No, again, we service that area. Our office is in Port Coquitlam.
Okay. Okay, good. So folks, we'll give about another minute here for people to drop in, because if it's anything like my church, people always arrive about a minute late. Let me just flip the screen here though. We do have a wheel that we're going to do a prize giveaway today. And everybody who registered is in there. So we have over 50 people on the wheel. So we're going to be giving away some fun stuff today. Trying to make it worth your while. What do you expect for free? Your money back? So just to keep it loose and get things started, my wife just sent me something via Instagram. She says, I know what my kids are going to do with me when my end of life appears. They're going to unplug my life support so they can plug in their iPad. Anybody relate to that?
Yep.
Well, I don't have time to find out about all your families, but you're going to find out about mine a little bit today. Okay, how many people have we got logged in here, Greg? Okay, great. Okay, so we're what do we got up on the screen there? Our welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Some people will have access to this afterwards if they're part of our mentoring group. But just to introduce myself, my name is John de Jong, and I'm very glad to have you all here today. As I said, we're going to be covering a few things. I want to welcome the people that are in the group from Barter Pay. I've got 3 different groups that I've invited to this meeting today. So Chuck Groot is my local rep from Barter Pay. And I've known Chuck for about 40 years between church, and Chuck actually was a photographer at my mother and father-in-law's wedding. And even taught a couple of my kids in high school. So one of the things I like about Barter Pay is it's a great way to improve cash flow. And Chuck has hooked me up with people even in the United States. So if you're looking for the oldest way in the world to improve cash flow, you can email Chuck at barterpay.ca, or you can email me and I will send you a link. Next, I want to welcome one of my other favorite groups is the craft brewers in the house. Our sister company, the brewerymarketer.com, sponsored the Canada Beer Cup last year. And that's where I met a bunch of you there. And last but not least, the bottom line there is because you're the foundation of our business, the customers of AlleyKat Science, which I've said hi to you a couple of times already this morning to a few of you. So let's get started. Have you taken the Google Viz quiz? You know, if you're like me, I'm getting sick and tired of getting emails and phone calls from digital marketers telling me how bad my website is and that I don't show up on Google. Really? Don't lie to me. I'm actually one of the best. So at least take your time to do your research. And that's one of the things that makes AlleyKat.Marketing a little bit different than everybody else is I give you the tools you need right now. They're actually right on my website. So if you see in the bottom right-hand corner of your monitor there, that is our website, AlleyKat.Marketing, but don't type in the DOT. And there's a tool there, and it's called the Google Viz Quiz. And you can go in there and you can find out how your business shows up on Google from a third-party point of view. Because when you're doing your own Viz Quiz search, if you do it, you just search for your own business, that's not a real Google search. That doesn't show how you show up. That shows how your name shows up. But you need to find the keyword that works for you, that you want to be found for, and you want to input that into the Google Viz Quiz, and then it'll come up with a color coding, either red or green or yellow or whatever. Red is bad, green is good. Okay, so Google Business Profile, it's actually a really amazing opportunity for people to get found in the first page on the web. And we're going to cover some really cool stuff that'll help you dominate getting found on Google without that, what I call BS EO. So the constant work that you have to do building backlinks and then, relying on pay-per-click ads or Facebook ads and that sort of thing. So we're going to get right into it. And I want to share a couple of things with you. So first of all, who's going to benefit from this training? Some of you already have an online business, or like me, you have a bricks and mortar business, or actually you may have both. So as long as you're selling products and services, you can benefit from this. We can also help coaches and consultants who sell products online. Those are good categories for Google Business Profile. And then of course, the service business, the laser toner that we talked about here today, plumbers, electricians, contractors, you're going to get a lot out of today's training. So another prime criteria that you should already know is if you're going to benefit from this business, you need to have happy customers and know how to deliver results. We have 500 5-star or over 500 5-star Google reviews. So that has changed my business. If you're an established business and you're looking for a little bit of extra oomph, getting found first on Google, you're going to love this. If you have an online platform or you're willing to create one, then this Google Business Profile training is definitely for you. Okay, you're going to get some great benefit for you. Well, who is this not for? It's not for you if you don't have a product or service that you can sell or market online. It's also not for you if you're looking for a magic bullet to save your business. I do get people coming to me from time to time and their business is failing and they want me to turn it around for them. Well, this is an organic process. It still takes some time to manifest, so I can't really rescue a business. That's not what this is about. And just so you know, if you're not interested in leads or more phone calls, if you're functioning at 100% capacity, like contractors or construction workers were, a year ago, if you can't take on more business, you probably shouldn't bother doing this. I mean, it's good to build now for the future because business is going to slow down sooner or later. But if you don't have time to take on new business right now, you probably shouldn't go further with this. Lastly, if you don't have a marketing budget or you don't have the time to do the work yourself, it is a little bit intense. It's totally doable by yourself. I'm going to give you the tools you need to do that. But you really need to invest either one thing, time or money, to make this work. So, excuse me again, getting a little bit of a parched throat here. Let's talk about the agenda. I'm going to give you a brief history of the Google Business Profile. Then I'm going to help you identify the problems that we as small businesses have faced. Number 3, I'm going to give you some actionable tactics, 4 or 5 things that you can do right now to start moving the needle for you. So here's my promise to you. I'm going to share with you my best stuff, all the exact stuff that I've used to build my business and to build other people's businesses, 6-figure businesses. And the way I run my business is basically everything that I need to know about business, I learned in Sunday school. So my wife, Barbara, and we raised our 3 sons, and we build our business on the same golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. So far, we've been blessed with 2 daughters-in-law, and we just have a grandson, and over 500 Google reviews. And those are all really important things. By the way, we're still looking for 1 more daughter-in-law and a lot more Google reviews. So if you can help me with that, that'd be great. So let's jump in on this. I'm going to give you my best. I'm hoping you'll give me your best. And yeah, let's move on. So here's some rules. I like rules. I like structure. Turn your cameras on. I've got a screen full of faces right here. I'd like to see the rest of the faces because this is very interactive. I'm making the effort to deliver here, but I expect you to be able to receive as well. Second thing that you need to know, this is a revelation, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you work at it and you optimize your Google Business Profile, getting found on Google will revolutionize your business and therefore your family. I'm going to show you some case studies, but don't be fooled. These are real-life situations that take work and effort to improve. The good news is I've already made all the expensive mistakes. So like I said before, I try to live by the golden rule. And I phrase it as this: valuable people, valuable relationships, creating valuable results. So turn your phones off. One of the reasons people need our services and your services to do this is because they have such a short attention span. But there's nothing in your business that we can't delay for an hour. So I've turned my phone off. Yeah, let me just chuck that right over there. So there's one thing that you probably won't be happy with, and that is that a lot of the current SEO that you're doing is dead wrong. I know I was really ticked off when I'd spent thousands of dollars for this company out of California that sent me an email. And basically, I found out that I've been wasting time and money because I never got a single result out of it. It was BSEO. It was bad ad spending on Google and Facebook. So I'm going to share with you the ways that you can work through this. Okay, so now that I've been a badass and telling you guys to turn off your phones and give me your undivided attention, let's make it worth your while. We're going to spin the wheel and we're going to give away a free Google profile optimization. And people spend this is a $500 value. So haven't decided if you have to be in the meeting or not in the meeting. I'd prefer if you're in the meeting to do this. So let's see what happens here. Who's our winner? Amy Chicoine, are you in the meeting? I'm going to give it about 30 seconds here. Do you see an Amy Chicoine in the meeting? We do not see an Amy Chicoine. Let's remove her and we'll spin again. We all sign up for things and life happens. Customers walk in and sometimes you can't get to it. But Tom Solk, are you in the meeting? Awesome. Great to see you, Thomas. So Thomas, I'm going to do a deep dive for you in your Google Business Profile. The tools that are on my surface is sorry, on the top of my website is a light version. I'm going to do a deep dive for you, and I love it because you've sent me a bunch of business over the years. So this I'm going to be able to give you something back. Okay, so let's get started on the content. Does this sound like you? You're the best at what you do, but no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to get new customers on demand? Or you're losing out to crappier products or crappier businesses because they do underhanded, sleazy things and they're getting away with it? And you're doing so many things inside your business, but you're spinning your wheels and you really can't seem to move the needle. That's feedback that I get an awful lot. So probably like me, you got into business to have more family time or more play time, maybe more vacation time. You want more financial freedom. You thought you'd have, be able to do bigger write-offs and have less taxes to pay. But now you just can't seem to get any one or two or all of those things, if any at all, done. Well, here's the good news. Google Business Profile, getting to the top of it is simpler than you think. And as I said before, it's still work, but honestly, most of your competitors aren't going to do what it takes. So if I show you, or what I show you today, if you just do it, you're just going to move right up the ladder. Trust me. And most so-called marketing gurus are really outdated. They don't have the practical experience of getting people to the top because they're using old-fashioned methods. So I'm going to show you exactly the exact method that got a single car dealership 4.9 million hits in just one year using these exact methods. And I promise you, you will become the go-to. You'll become the found person in your industry, in your local area, and you're going to start getting traffic volume and sales that you've been looking for. And you only need to focus on things that move the needles. Too many of us are wasting time doing things that aren't any good. They're not a good ROI. The amount of effort that it takes to put together blogs and some of the other things that people are telling you to do right now, it's just not, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. So let's talk about me for a second. What do I know about this? Well, I know a thing or two about commitment. My wife, Barbara, and I have been married for 37 years. We've owned AlleyKat Signs since 2009. We have 3 sons, all adults. They've all worked in the business at one time or another. And our oldest son, Chase, still works with us. My middle son works for NASCAR down in Phoenix, and they just blessed us with a beautiful grandson. And my other son is going to university in Australia, and he's down there with his wife. But I had a life-changing experience. In 2008, I almost died in surgery. While I was recovering, my boss thought it was really important for me to come back to work. So he kept phoning me even while I was in the hospital and with recovery. And after that, I just lost all respect for him. So I knew I couldn't go back to work for him in a situation like that anymore. So like many of you, I doubled the mortgage on my house. I took out a couple more lines of credit and I bought a business. I bought AlleyKat Signs. That sound familiar to anybody? So I have over 45 years of sales and marketing experience. I've created award-winning marketing programs with Toyota and the Jim Pattison Group. As I said earlier, I've been married for 37 years to Barbara, and we've actually been involved in marriage mentoring for over 20 years. And I've been doing business mentoring for many years as well. As a matter of fact, in 1998, Barbara was pregnant with our 3rd son, and I actually went to Russia for a month and spent time teaching business courses over there. So I'm a Google business kind of guy. And unlike most gurus or lots of gurus, I've proven everything that I'm going to show you. I don't just regurgitate the last fad. If you look up AlleyKat Signs right now, we have 507 Google reviews and a 4.9 rating. I'm a certified level 8 Google guide. So I'm the top 10% in the world, actually. I've contributed to over 6,600 Google business profiles. I'd like to think I made all of them better. So how did I get my first Google review? Well, it was funny. I didn't even know what a Google review was. And I had just done some window graphics for a law firm. And the owner, Darren, came up to me and he said, "Hey, John, that's great. Let me give you a Google review." And I said, "What's that?" So he said, "Come around my desk and I'll show you." So, remember I was telling you Google business hasn't always been Google business. It started out as Google Plus, and I was smart enough to have signed my company, AlleyKat Signs, up for a Google Plus account. But I really had no idea what to do with it. Well, to make a long story short, Darren gave me a 5-star Google review. Now, another word for experience is mistakes. And I made the mistake of not replying to Darren's Google review for 2 years. But we've learned to survive from our mistakes. We've learned to survive tough things like COVID. And that's really when you find out what you're made of, right? So when COVID hit, our local government put out a program where you could help, or you could get a grant for getting online and moving to the digital environment. So we signed up for that. And I started doing websites, and then I found out to use my experience from Google reviews and help customers get that. And then we moved on to Google Business Profiles, which is absolutely the simplest way to be found on the internet today. So imagine if your business was found #1 on Google search 4.3 million times in a year. Well, that's a pretty extreme case. What if you were found 20,000 times in a year? How would that affect your life? And that's not unreasonable. How would being the #1 search result affect your life, even if it was only 10 times a day and you were #1? What could you do with results like this? So here's a graph. We're looking at a graph on the left, which shows you driving directions, phone calls, visits to a website, all of this on one particular Google Business Profile. And this is not the website. This is the Google Business Profile that shows up on your phone or on your laptop or on your desktop. In gross terms here, this company was the #1 search result 32,800 times in 1 month. By the way, the graphics here that I'm showing you are from Google. We don't produce those. And the cool things about these numbers is Google only tracks unique eyeballs, meaning that if you went back to this website 4 times, it only gets counted as 1. Okay, so 32,800 times they were the unique search result, and they were the #1 search result on maps. They were featured 35,000. So those are the 2 different places that you can be found. So the map pack, if you don't know what the map pack is, that usually shows up on the left-hand side, and it's the graphic that shows the top 3 businesses, and it pretty much always shows up on the top. You can't buy to get in there. Sometimes Google will put one paid ad in there just at the very top. So what I want to ask you is, if you have a bricks and mortar business, would you rather be found on Google search, or would you rather be found on the Google map pack? Well, the answer is you want to be found on the Google map pack. So let's look at this next slide here. This is a performance tab of 2 of our visibility clients. And what you see in the middle on the top block of the squares there, the middle one shows 41,200 times they were the #1 search. Now that's a 28-day period, but if you look to the left of that, they actually got 52,000 views on 41,000 searches. Well, how does that happen? How do you get more views than people were actually searching for? Well, that happens because Google pulled out some things from their Google Business Profile, some individual elements that the client had built into there, and they were listed separately about another 11 or 12,000 times. So let's look over to the right. You see where it says activity. Now, activity is phone calls or trips or visits to the website, emails, asking for directions, looking for inventory and views of your photos. Those are all actions that were taken on Google. So in that same 21,000 period or 28-day period, they had 266,000 actions. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but that's a 600%. I used a calculator there. That's a 600% rate of return on engagement. So that's fantastic. So go to the next box down. We see 55,200 searches that netted 68,000 views. And that's nothing. If you look over here on the box to the right-hand side, this one was August 9th through 30th last year. This client had 360,000 actions under Google Business Profile in images alone. So those are photographs that were shown on Google. Their average competitor only had 37,900. So that's a 9 times factor. Photos we're going to talk about in the future are so important. As a matter of fact, if you look at Google Insights right now, if you're following a Google Business Profile, they tell you where your weak areas are. And the thing that you need to do right now, that Google is telling us this, get more photographs on there. So that's the number one key. I'll talk to that about that a little bit more. Okay, take a look at the slide here. This is not a skill testing quiz, folks. Agree or disagree. And I'd like to see put an A if you agree or a D if you disagree in the chat. And I want to see, I want to get some feedback here. If your business does not show up on page 1 of Google, you're essentially invisible to the customer. Give me some A's or D's. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, I'm not seeing any D's. So tell this to my wife, I was right. So that's a problem. We've all become accustomed to pulling out our cell phone or sitting down at our desk and doing a quick Google, right? I mean, it's actually part of our vernacular now. So if we don't see something on the first page, do we actually look and go to the second page? No, we don't. Matter of fact, in our industry now, the saying is, if you want to hide a dead body, where's the best place to do that? Page 2 on Google, because no one looks there, right? So you've got to be on the first page of Google in order to be found. So I'm preaching to the choir. I know you know this, but how the heck do we get found on the first page of Google? So let's, we've got to overcome the big spenders of major corporations. You've got to people that are spending lots of money on SEO. We're still on slide 20. That's great. So that's the problem. The great thing about Google Business Profile is it is always on the top of Google search, no matter what other people are spending on ads, no matter what other people are doing on SEO, because their SEO is all off page. Everything we're talking about is on Google using Google tools. Did you know that Google is always the #1 search, or it always picks from its own basically bank accounts first, and it serves you what exactly it thinks your customers want to have? So it's a pretty big deal. We use a Google Business Profile, and that's the way we equalize the field and we get ahead of all the people spending lots of time and money. So let's talk a little bit about the history of Google Business Profile. It's an important part of the story. So it actually began, like I said, back in 2014 as what was known the Google Pigeon Algorithm, or the update. We've all heard of the algorithm. The Google Pigeon Algorithm was fascinating because for the first time, it was started to gather and index social media signals. And I thought, wow, that's pretty amazing. They're actually doing that because at the time, they were not really big on in social media. As a matter of fact, they didn't even have anything. But the great thing about indexing these social media profiles is things like Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, those are all going to start to populate on search, right? Well, no, yes and no, because the only way for Google to index that is through your Google Business Profile. So it started out as Google+. Now, Google+ is actually one of the building blocks for getting found on Google Business Profile, and that's what it morphed into over time. And it was kind of an accidental discovery, which many of the great, best scientific discoveries have been accidental. But let me explain how my tech consultant Craig actually found this. He created a post for Google, a Google Post Plus, and he took the content from that from a Google document. Then he cleared his cache and refreshed his page. And a second later, he found that the Google Plus post that he had made was indexed and came up as the #1 search result. Now, that kind of baffled him a little bit because Craig understood that in order to get content indexed for search, it sometimes takes 4 hours, it sometimes takes 4 weeks, but there's nothing that can deliver content to the top of search in 18 seconds, nothing. So he started doing some research and he discovered that if we use Google tools and Google properties, i.e. Google Business Profile, Google indexes that immediately. We don't have to wait for the Google spiders or the Google bots to crawl your website. So not only were we wrong on the 18 seconds or the under 4 hours or under 4 weeks, but it's almost instantaneous when you use a Google tool to post your content. So Google Plus has now gone away and Google Business Profiles are still here. So Google Business Profile, what is it now? Well, it's in fact a micro website that sits on top of the Google search platform. So most of us have used one in the last few days. Here's what I mean. if you search for a bank near me, or hamburger near me, or whatever it is that's near me, and then you click on the button to drive there or to call there, well, that's the Google business profile right on top of Google search. As a matter of fact, somewhere in the neighborhood of 60% of the adult public with a cell phone has made a buying decision or a directional decision based on a Google business profile in the last few days. So that's just an outstanding number. And as a business owner, I know that that's where I want to be. That's where you want to be found, is where people are looking, right? So Google Business is a place to post your company services, your offers, your products, your messaging. You can connect to your website. Anything that has to do with your business can go into a Google Business profile. And the more is the better, because everything that's in there gets searched organically and indexed. And that's really cool, because when your Google Business profile comes up as a search result on the right, or there's a bunch of ads on the left that have, and then single line items that might have the one word here or one word there that you were searching for, what do you normally click on? Do you click on something that's got the content that you were looking for specifically, or do you click on something that might have what you're looking for? The beauty of the business profile is that most people actually click on the profile, because Google has determined that it has the best amount of data for what it is that you're looking for. The other great thing about the Google Pigeon algorithm is that it now becomes a social media platform. So remember, I started talking about it being a social media platform, that it would index social media platforms like LinkedIn and so on. Well, now that's a way of you getting your message out, and you don't get anybody else coming back in and poo-pooing on your ideas. The only way that people get back in is by leaving you a review. And generally that's only done by clients. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So there's also the Google map listing, so that you can be found on Google search, and you can be found on Google Maps. If you're a local business, you want to be found on Google Maps. That's where we are on Bridge Street. But we're also a hybrid business, and we do business with clients all the way across Canada and the United States. So we want to be found on Google area search or Google search. And you can also be found on a hybrid of both. So if you have a bricks and mortar address, you want to show up on maps. If you're somebody like a consultant that you don't bring people into your office, you want to be found on local area search. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. Okay, let's talk a little bit about building your profile, some basics that you need for your profile. Take some notes here, folks. So you have to decide if you want your address to show or not. Like I said, if you're a bricks and mortar business, you want your address to show. Each and every one of us that creates a profile has to have a real address. It can't be a post office box, can't be a private mailbox. It has to be a physical address, because they send you a postcard to confirm that you're an address. This is how they're trying to reduce the amount of fraudulent Google business profiles. So you can, if you work out of your home, you can have your address hidden, but you still need to receive the physical card in there from Google. That's how they confirm it. So put your address down and then choose to hide it, or get people to your bricks and mortar facility. You have to decide on what phone number you're going to use, because they verify through the phone as well. I generally recommend that you set up your verification with your cell phone, and then once your profile has been verified and up for 31 days, you can change it to your landline. This will just help you get it done quicker, folks. And you can use your landline, and if you're also using tracking numbers, you can put that in as your primary number, so that you can track the calls, where they're coming from, if it's coming from your website or whatever. But always use your landline as your secondary number, your auxiliary number. That's just a way for Google to understand that you're tracking the calls, but you're still a legitimate business. The last thing you want is a real business like yours or mine to have your profile suspended. That would devastate my business right now. Okay, next, be sure to upload your logo. And your cover photo, and add some more geotagged photos. So take photos with your phone. because everywhere that your content appears, your logo is, and your logo is always in every single instance a link back to your Google business profile. So that's pretty cool stuff right there. Okay, the main problem faced by owners today, and I don't have a poll for this, but we're gonna cover it in the next couple of slides. Let's move on to the next one, Greg. The number one problem is for people to get in front of potential customers and clients at the exact right time. Well, when is the right time? Well, it's not when they're doing research about a product. Like I'm looking for a new battery operated lawnmower right now. And I'm doing research, all over the web, but Max Lawnmower, sales down the road doesn't need to see me right now. He needs to see me when I'm ready to buy. That's the most important thing, when people are ready to make a decision. So Google has another update that just came out. Well, it's about 2 years ago now, and it's called Vicinity. And their algorithm there is now calculating people who are ready to make a decision, and a decision very, very quickly. So they're very specific things that they're asking for. Like if you have a near me questionnaire in your Google search, Google knows that you're looking for something now promptly to do business, right? So Google analyzes those requests, those search priorities, and then it serves them up as results, and it pulls them out of your Google business profile. So it might not even pull out your whole Google business profile. It might just pull out a product that you have or a service that you have at the exact right time when the prospects are hot leads. That's pretty cool. So what if I could send your traffic directly to your products and services with one click? You can do that with a Google business profile. On a Google business profile, there's lists and services on the left-hand side. You go down here in your menu, and you can see that in the next slide. And when you're in your Google business profile, there's services and there are products. For a service, you get 300 characters to define what your service does. But that is pure SEO. And where is it located? In the Google profile. And where does Google search first for relevant content? In Google profiles. That, like I said, that's so powerful, and anybody can do it. Google walks you right through it. Once you've put in your 300 characters about optimizing your service, carry on to the next one and put in another service and another service. Make sure you've got a complete list of categories. Make sure you've got a complete list of services. Build out all of your products, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And then make sure you've got multiple points of engagement. You've got your phone, you've got your email. You can even install chat on there nowadays. And that is a perfect way for people. I've actually sold products over chat now. So separate search results of my products are not part of the Google panel. So if someone wants to buy a widget, Google can conceivably serve up my product, and person can click on it and it'll take them right to my store, and they could do a financial transaction, buy my product, and then they really didn't even get to my website. They didn't search or do anything. That's what Google calls a clickless search result. And Google loves that because they keep the clients happy. And what happens when you're done with that transaction? You come back to Google search. So they're keeping their client on Google, and they want to do that because that's how they make their money when other Google ads are popping up and that sort of thing. Okay, so the nice thing about that is you can sell your products and services, you can book appointments, and you don't need to spend a ton of money on blogging, or time and money on blogging that you've heard about. You don't have to worry about getting backlinks. You don't have to spend money on Google ads or Facebook ads, and you don't have to wait for the Google bots to crawl your site. Because you posted it on the Google business profile, it's going to post quickly. Even if you've got the Google management protocols, you can still tell Google to crawl your site, and it could still take a couple of months. You have no control over that. Okay, so let's talk. Let me ask you this: put a number 1 in the chat if you've got a Google business profile right now. I'm curious to see where we're at right here. Okay, lots of ones. Okay, so here's a better qualifying question for you. Give me a 0 in the chat if you have a Google business profile, but it's kind of just sitting there. You don't know what to do with it. You've created it, it's there, but you're not curating it. I'm starting to see lots of 1s and lots of 0s. Okay, that's good. That means that you people are in the right place. Okay, I'm not going to go into teaching you how to set up a Google profile right now. There are other videos out there about that. That's not really what this training is about. Let's get into the strategy for how to leverage your free Google business profile to increase traffic, okay? We all want to get some people through the door and start getting results. So let's take a look at the 4 specific activities that you can do to get a boost on Google for your profile. Well, that sounds pretty good, John. What are they? Well, like I told you before, it's uploading more photos. Google actually is telling us right now to get more photos on your Google business profile. It's actually best if your photos are taken from a cell phone, and that allows the geo data to be embedded in the photo and as you upload it. Now, many of you have clients that are around different parts of the city. So take photos from there. And as you do that, if you take photos at different parts of the city, you now start to expand your Google search area. Google says, oh, they're based on Main Street, but they're also doing work out on Highway 7 or something like that. And if you don't have a lot of current clients right now, but you've got some previous clients, you can go and take pictures of their place or upload old pictures if you got them in files and that sort of thing. Do like 3, 4, 5 pictures a day. You don't want to overrun it, because then Google thinks you're gaming the system, and they've got algorithms that aren't people that use common sense. It's only digital data. So here's another pro tip for you. Get your staff or your customers to upload the photos, because Google puts a higher priority on photos that are not uploaded by the profile manager. They go, oh, their customers are uploading data. That's really cool. So that's a strategy. Take the photo with the cell phone and upload as many as you want. There's no limit that you can upload. So upload away, okay? Okay, item number 2. This is hard stuff, or this is real hard data that you can upload and make a difference in your business right away. So we talked a little bit about services. Let's talk about products. With services, they allow you to upload 300 characters to describe it. With a product, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to upload a photo. That photo needs to be 1200 pixels wide by 900 pixels high. That way it's going to show up best. It's not going to have cropping, and when we talk about it exporting to other sites, it'll look good on those as well. So you get your product name, create a category for your products, and then you put a price on it. Now you can have a price that's a solid price. You can have an up to price. You can have a from price. You can have a $50 to $200 price range on there. And then you get 1,000 characters to build your description. So on the screen here, you can see Firefly Fuel that they've used 690 characters. So that's twice as many as they would have gotten with a service. But you can still take that up to 1,000, and you can use AI now to help you maximize the characters that are in there. So this is all pure SEO. This box right here for your description, that's where you want to be building your keyword data to go into there and describe your product. If you have a service page on your website, Google actually goes to your service page and it scrapes it, and it'll pull down services and plug them into your Google business profile. So a lot of you have got services listed on your Google business profile that you don't even know are there. And some of them are right or some of them are wrong. So you need to go in and get rid of the ones that are wrong. Just click on the X on the little box and then fill in your 300 character description for your services. You still have to do that. And again, there's not really any limit. So anything that you can think of that's a description for a service that you provide, get it in there, because that's your free SEO right there. Okay, so if you do the 2 things we talked about, adding photos and adding your products and services, if you do those 2 things, you're probably going to start getting phone calls right away, because that's how effective it is. Like I said, it processes immediately. Okay, there's also a thing on there called posts. Now, I used a post for this Google Business Profile. I included that on my profile for this seminar. And there's also things called events. So you need to post posts, and you need to do 2 or 3 of those a week. The cool thing is the posts, like a social media platform, are go out to everybody, but it's only one directional. So the post can be a call to action. And this is not a place for your fluff or your, your look at my cool meal that I ate today. This is for a place for you to put something that will draw people into doing something with your business. So show a cool product and then have a button that says call now for more information. You got to have a call to action on it. You want someone to buy it online, they can go to, read for more information. It can go to a website. It can be a call now button. You can have someone download a map. You can also create offers, and you can create sales. You can create events. Like I said, I posted for this webinar there. But wait, as soon as you're done with that, you can also share that post or that profile. There's a link there, and you can share that on Facebook or Twitter. You can copy the link in there, and you can put that link into an outbound email. So it's so easy to do. It only takes a couple minutes to do. And you can push your content out from Google out to these other social media platforms so they still become effective. And what did I say earlier? Google profile now scrapes social media. So you now are doubling and tripling the validity of your Google business profile, because it's the same or similar content is showing up on other sites. It's really strong, folks. The more you push out, the better off you're going to be. And now you don't have to waste your time and waste your money on blogs and paid ads. Craig, my developer who figured all this out, he's got blogs that are now 7 years deep, or profiles that have got content that goes back 7 years. It's incredible. Okay. Number 4. Now this is near and dear to my heart. We talked about how Google is an outbound social media platform. The only way that John Q. Public gets back in is by reviews. And you've got to ask for reviews. Reviews are so powerful, and I'm gonna give you a real world example of that in just a minute. On your Google business profile, there's a button that you can go share your review form, and it gives you a link, and you can build that. It'll just go right to your clipboard. You can embed that into an email. I did that for years. I managed my own outbound emails for asking for Google reviews. It literally changed my life. Now I use automation, and that's something that we can provide for you, is automation to get your Google reviews. The most important thing is you've got to prep your customers in advance. Many of you who are in here right now are customers of AlleyKat Signs. You probably remembered that you probably came to me because of a Google review, so that psychologically preps you that you're going to want to leave a review. Secondly, I mentioned to you when you picked up your products or your services that, hey, I'm going to be sending you an email request. Hopefully we earned a 5-star Google review. If you've been in our store, you see decals that say, did we earn a 5-star Google review? I even have it on my truck. So Google's profiles are so important. Their reviews are so important. My wife won't even buy anything now unless she looks at 5, 6, 7, reviews. I'm looking at the lawnmowers. Of course, I'm looking at the reviews, right? So what else can Google reviews do for you? Well, let me ask you this. How about getting new employees? Greg, who's sitting here with me right now, came to my business, and if he had applied for a job with me, and he applied for a job at one of my competitors up the street, and I've got 507 reviews with a 4.9 rating, and my competitor up the street has got 67 reviews with a 4.2 rating, and we're both offering him the same monthly salary, the same benefits, everything being equal, who do you think that employee is going to go to? Yeah, he becomes your employee, and he's a great employee, and your competitor loses out. What about 10 years from now, when I'm ready to go spend more time down in Phoenix with my grandkids and I want to sell my business? Is my business worth more with 507 Google reviews compared to my competitor who has 62? Yeah, if business is good, there's going to be a bidding war for my business. And if business is bad, probably my business is going to sell and the other one isn't, because it's a lot easier for that new owner to get business through the door. So these are just a couple other ways that that reviews are important to you. Okay, lastly, you've got to reply to every single review, whether it's a positive one or a negative one. And even if it's a negative review, try to answer as positively as you can. Let me just share with you, if it is a phony review, and there are some of them out there that people do that, or there's even bots out there that leave phony reviews, answer the review, deal with the fact that you can't find them in your system, propose that they contact you again, and then there's a button that you can click and you can report it back to Google. Now, even I have a couple of one-star Google reviews. That does happen from time to time, but because I have so many, it doesn't really hurt me. But here's something that's funny. Because Google thinks reviews are so important, it actually gives you 4,000 characters to deal with a review, whether it's positive or negative. So you can literally write a sermon in there about, I'm sorry for your problem, we want to address it, blah, blah, blah. It is so powerful. They actually, like I said, 4,000 characters. So you are wasting a huge opportunity to deal with increasing your ranking, because all of that is indexed. That's all SEO, those characters. Okay, so I'm going on and on about Google reviews here for a second. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have Craig pull up the wheel again. We're going to spin the wheel, and I'm going to give away 2 months of Google business reviews marketing from AlleyKat.Marketing. That's a $600 value. And by the way, I just want to say this about the Google reviews. There's a local company here, a friend of mine owns Horgan's Flooring, and he's been doing this with me for over a year now. And he literally said to me, he goes, "John, why didn't you sell this to me before?" He's getting like 20 reviews a month through our automated program. And could he have done that himself? Yeah, as a matter of fact, the software that he has internally, he switched over his software and went to a new program that was for managing their entire business inventory and scheduling and all that sort of thing. And it came with a module for doing Google reviews. He was on it for 1 month. He got 3 reviews. He says, "The heck with this. John knows what he's doing. I'm going back to him." Okay, Greg, let's spin the wheel. Let's see if we can give away some Google review management. And the winner is Pankrati. Panky, is Panky in the house?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome. Okay, we're gonna reach out to you, and you've won 2 months of Google reviews. What kind of business are you in?
So we're a retail business. It's called Monk Office.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna help you with that. I love dealing with Monk Office. Okay. So let's move on. Back to optimizing your profile. Here's a bonus for you. Just as important as Google reviews is answering questions. Most people don't even have a single question on their Google business profile. So here's what I recommend. Get your team together, write down the top dozen questions that get asked. And this, it's a great thing to talk about price. It's a, whatever, do you have this in stock? Questions that are very specific to your business that people are going to ask on a regular basis. And then what I would do is you can ask your own questions. There's no problem with doing that. Put it in yourself, but kind of a better way to do it is to distribute those questions to a few employees or friends and say, "Hey, can you log in to my Google business profile, ask this question, and then I'll answer it back." So Google loves questions, and they love it based on speed of answer. So the more things that you do to show Google that you're interacting with your Google business profile, the higher you're going to rank. Okay. Second bonus, you have to interact regularly with Google business profile. This is something that I learned, and I was doing it wrong for a long time. You know how Google actually prompts you to say, "Hey, what are your hours? We've got Victoria Day weekend coming up. Are you open Victoria Day?" And you should answer it. Now, people do one of two mistakes here. Either they don't, they just put in their hours and they don't put in anything else, or they mark out all the holidays for the whole year. Well, here's a little tip for you. Google rewards activity. So I only change my hours the week before it's coming up, because all things being equal, if my competitors don't change their hours or don't go into their Google business profile, but I do, and I say I'm closed on Monday, May 27th or whatever it is, if all things are equal and my competitors have not touched their Google business profile and I have, boom, I go right to the top because I've shown activity. So that's a simple thing that you can do. Change your hours but only as they come up. Okay. Next thing, talking about Google Business Profile and answering reviews. We already touched on that. So the 4,000 characters of prime SEO, like I said, if you have reviews that are in your system and you haven't answered them, go back to the oldest ones, do some research, pull some keywords in there and find out who that customer was, what they bought, and you build that into your review reply. You say, hey, thanks, Bill, for coming in. I'm so glad you're happy with your new car vehicle wrap. We're so excited that 3M has a great warranty on that. And, you take some keywords that are specific to their product because Google's giving you this real estate to really flesh it out and build in some SEO. So do that. Okay. So we're kind of winding down here. If you've uploaded your photos, if you've added products and services with full descriptions for your 300 for your services, your 1,000 for your products, and your 4,000 for your Google reviews, if you're posting 1 to 3 times a week and you always ask for and respond to reviews, you've now done all the exact techniques that I do for my customers. Okay. So you're going to get massive amounts of traffic if you're building this out right, and you've got good calls to action that'll make your phone ring without the expense and the hassle of paid ads. And none of us wants to pay for things that we don't have to. So I've tried to, deliver all of those results to my clients. I actually went out and learned how to do it using tech partners. And I'm so glad that I did because it's made my business blow up. So I have one question for you. Did you learn something today? Can I get some ones or some emojis in the chat there? Try to make me feel good here. I've been talking for what, 45 minutes? Okay, I'm seeing some good stuff there. Thanks, guys. I like the thumbs up. Okay, so thank you so much. Does anybody feel like they've been drinking from a fire hose here? Let me get rid of my chat there. Yeah, okay, I'm seeing heads nodding there. All right, so you got lots of new data. I told you about my buddy Martin who literally said to me, John, why didn't you sell this to me before? Well, some of the stuff I didn't know. And so when you don't know stuff, when you learn a bunch of new stuff, it comes at you fast and furious. So this is the part number 4 that I told you about earlier. This is, if you want some help, you can get it. It's only if you want it. There's no pressure here. I just want to share a couple of things with you. There are some potential problems and fail points with it. First of all, time. If you don't have the time to do this, you might get burned out or frustrated. You might end up back where you started with less time, and you've invested, time is money, so less money. You might try to set up the profile yourself, and it takes longer than you'd anticipated to dial things in and get results because it is organic. I've told you that before. It takes a little bit of time. So if you've hired a marketing firm like I did, I got sucked in by one of those emails that promised me, search engine optimization for $100 a month. And I spent thousands of dollars and had absolutely nothing to show for it. That really ticked me off. Or you sign up for a company and they promise all this custom stuff, and then they pass you off to an account manager, possibly in a different country, and they offer cookie cutter solutions and they make a bunch of dough off you, right? Well, that's not a good way to do it. So you've got 2 options. I've shown you everything that you need to do. You can do it yourself, or you can do what's on the right. We can build it for you. Now, if you're smart and you want to go with option number 2, here's what you need to do, or here's what you're in for in terms of speed and results. We offer a simple, scalable process. If you take a look behind me, you see my AlleyKat.Marketing. If you look down at the bottom of the screen, you see my super cat down there, AlleyKat.Marketing. If you go to my website, AlleyKat, now don't type in the word dot, you just put in a period, .marketing, and you click on the book a call, we will book a call with you. And within 7 days, Greg and I will have you onboarded with your data going into our system. Within 14 days, we'll have a strategy built for you. I know there's a couple of my current customers on the call here, and they can attest to our timeframes. Within 14 to 60 days, you'll start to see a demonstrable increase in your traffic. That'll be phone calls, that'll be web clicks, that'll be things coming through from your site. And in 60 days, we should have full lift off and you'll start seeing the results of more organic traffic to your website. And that's just the first 30 to 60 days. So this is not for you if you're completely broke. Okay. It's not for you if you think everything is a scam and people are in the world are out to get them. That's not me. That's not my team. It's not my family. We have 500 Google reviews because we don't sell stuff. We deliver stuff. People who are stuck in analysis paralysis and you just want to get more information instead of taking real action, you can go to my website. I've got tools there for you. Or if you have no existing business, or you're just not willing to put in the time or work to grow your business, it's not for you. But this is for you if you want to generate some more clients within your digital footprint right now. Don't think about expanding to the whole world. Okay, let's just deal with your own backyard first, where you've got a reputation. If you're getting by in business and you really need to increase your sales, this is the way to do it. If you're so busy working inside your business that you have no time to work on your business or focus on things that are really going to move the needle, this could be for you. Okay. Or if you've hired other agencies in the past and the results have faded out quickly, or they just didn't deliver at all. I see a lot of that. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, here's what you need to do next. Like I said before, go to my website, AlleyKat.Marketing, AlleyKat.Marketing. You can click on my calendar there. Let's advance to the next slide, Greg, and we'll just show them. Oh, well, I'm getting myself out of order. That's my fault. But you can click on my calendar. There's a get started button at the top. You can book an appointment with me and we'll talk to you. We'll have a 15, 20-minute, half-hour call, whatever it's going to take to help you figure out if we're the right fit for you, because we're not. How much does a call cost? Costs absolutely nothing. Reach out to me and we'll see if we can work together and if we're the right fit. If it's appropriate, we'll get you going as soon as we possibly can. Why are we doing this? So Greg, I got one more slide there. I love helping people. My family motto that we raised our kids by, and our business motto is valuable people, valuable relationships, creating valuable results. I told you before, 25 years ago, I went to St. Petersburg, Florida. This is after the wall had fallen, or St. Petersburg, Russia, to train people in business. And they were just coming out of communism, learning about capitalism. And so I did that. I love seeing people succeed. We can't help everybody, but we do the best that we can. I thank you very much for your time. And we got a few minutes now for questions and answers. And I see Ryan May's got his hand up in the air.
Yeah, sorry, I just didn't miss it.
What's up, Ryan?
I posted it in the chat. I was asking about if you have only 5-star reviews, does it look like they're fabricated? Or is it good to have 5-star, or is it better to have 4.9?
It's better to have 4.9. So I have about 500 5-stars. I got 3 or 4 4-stars, and I've got 2 1-stars. And I asked Google to remove one of them one time, and they didn't take it out. So just so you know, their system is very automated. There's not a lot of people, there's thousands of people working at Google, but they're, I don't know what they're doing. They're programming, they're not replying. But yeah, I left mine in there because it keeps my rating at 4.9. The sweet spot is you want to be around, 4.6 to 4.9 is a great sweet spot to be. Good question.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I've got 2 businesses and they're both only 5-star reviews, which I'm not complaining, but I was wondering if I should want to have a little bit less sometimes.
Just accept what you've got, and you don't want to sabotage your rating to bring it down, but yeah, and that's life. It's like some people are unsatisfiable. I had one client one time for another trip that my wife and my son went on. We went down to Mexico to do some mentoring, and we did a fundraiser. And this lady, so I sent out, and some of you AlleyKat clients will remember, this was 5 years ago, we sent out an email saying, hey, we're doing a fundraiser. Would you like to donate a product or a service or a coupon? And we're going to auction it off. I have a silent auction to raise money. And this one lady replied back to me and she said, you're lucky I didn't slay you in social media. You didn't produce the sign that I wanted, blah. I shouldn't say blah, blah, blah. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying there was more to it. the bottom line is, folks, time is money, and we allocated a half an hour of design time for this, and she had gotten to the end of the design time. She wasn't happy with the design yet. So I said to her, we're going to have to charge you $100 an hour now for design if you used up all your allocation of time. She said, no, I don't want to do that. I'll take the sign the way it is. So again, this is a perfect reason to use all of your characters in a Google review as well. There's always another side to the story. Long and short of it was, I said to the lady, I said, if you're not happy, I will reprint the signs for you. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were that unhappy. And I said, or if you're really that unhappy, I'll give you your money back. So a week went by and I never heard from her again. And then I thought, oh, well, she obviously figured out that we're people of integrity and we stand behind what a product, and it probably wasn't that bad of an experience at all. The next day I got an email that said, you can e-transfer my refund to such and such. So I did. But she never brought the A-frame back. It was, so you got to deal with customers. You got to be a man of your word. You got to be a woman of your word, deal with integrity, ask for the reviews, and then go on. And it just becomes a building snowball. Your reputation gets out there, and then people come back and deal with you. I don't know how I got on that tangent, but any other questions? Kimberly, how can I help you?
Hi, I work for the Victoria Pub Company. So we have the Barton Banker specifically, and we've been trying for years under our description, under Google search. It still says that it's a Scottish styled pub with kilt clad servers, and we aren't that anymore. And we've been messaging and trying to change it, and it's been years of us trying to change that.
Send me an email about that, Kimberly, and say hi to Matt for me. And
I will.
And we'll look at that. As a matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll have Greg reach out to you. I'll reply to that email. I'll ask you to make us a manager of that account, and we'll go in and we'll work on it for you. And a manager doesn't give us, just so you know, when you sign up with us, and this I'll just do complimentary, Kimberly. When you sign up with us, we ask you to make us a manager on your Google Business Profile account, and that gives us certain rights, but it does not allow us to hijack it at all. So, and these are common questions that people ask, right? Like, and so when you're doing your Q&A, just as an aside, ask or deal with the problems that people would be afraid of. Like when I do, if any of you clients choose to, or people choose to become digital marketing clients of ours, we have a video that shows you how to do the onboarding form and where to look for stuff. The more questions you can answer in advance, the less friction that you have, the easier it is for people to come and do business with you. So anyways, we'll help you out with that, Kimberly. Just send us an email, john@AlleyKat.Signs.com. That's AlleyKat with a K.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
People asking if the recording will be available.
The recording will be available for a short time afterwards. I do have a mentorship group that I work with. And so people pay to be in this recording is normally, this type of a webinar is normally $297 to download. Yeah, I'll make it available for a certain amount of time for you folks. And I have all of your contact information, so I'll send you a link to that, okay? Is that fair? Awesome. Anybody else? Okay, so it's 6 minutes after 12, so we've gone 50 or 65 minutes. I want to thank you so much for coming. And if you need some help or we can be of service, please look us up. If you know that this webinar would be useful for somebody else and you want to share it with them while it's still up and available, I'd really appreciate that. And even if you don't sign up with us, if you send us a referral of another small business that you think might be beneficial for us to deal with, I'll make it worth your while. I'll give you some couple of months of Google review processing or Google Business Profile optimization or something like that. Does that sound fair, folks? Awesome. Thanks so much for your time. Be careful out there.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Bye, guys.